stress is the main reason for your belly fat. When you eat after sunset, that's where the problem happens. The gut bacteria can make you anxious. It can make you depressed. That's why we call the gut as the second brain.
What's the secret of your weight loss?
Just by eating at the right time. Every disease you take, fatty liver, heart attack, stroke, the final treatment is going to be weight loss.
A lot of people fart. Is it normal?
For example, if you are in a meeting, if you have to run to a restroom or a washroom to pass gas, then that is an issue.
What's your opinion on momos?
Fried momos out of the window.
People who eat non-vegetarian food, their gut health is not as good as vegetarian eaters.
Vegetarian diet is good for good gut bacteria because non-vegetarian doesn't have fiber.
Spicy foods can irritate your digestive system.
Spicy foods might cause heartburn.
Do you need to have detox drinks and foods to clear your system?
This whole thing of detox centers, it is a myth.
Why is your finger small?
I'm so sorry.
It's
so
completely
sorry.
okay. It's take your time.
I'm so sorry.
During COVID, one of my friends got a really high-paying job after completing his MBA, and he was the sole breadwinner of his family. And his dad retired a year back, and because of his MBA, he took an educational loan as well. But during COVID, he died. And after his death, his family and younger brother, who was still in college, got under this financial burden. A few days later, I read about term insurance plan. After reading it, the first thought that came into my mind was, although no one can take away his family's emotional burden, at least if the guy knew about the term insurance policy, his family's financial burden would have been taken care of. Term insurance is like a savior in such critical times. While life insurance plans start with 5,000 for a value of 1 crore coverage, term insurance has only 473 rupees a month premium for 1 crore cover that will give financial security to your family even in your absence. Additionally, you can save tax up to 1.5 lakh under Section 80C, and when it comes to comparing and choosing the right term insurance plan for yourself, Policy Bazaar is a great place to compare from 20 plus insurers, which provides you 24/7 claim assistance, and it's an online portal, so you don't have to worry about the extra offline agent commission and fraud. Also, low premium with high sum insured, and you will get up to 10% discount if you click on the link given in my description, fill the correct information, and buy the right term plan for you to save your family in your absence. I've taken my term insurance from Policy Bazaar. It's time for you to ensure your family's secure future. Click the link in the description. Well, today's episode is all about gut health. More than 70% of problems that we face daily can be solved if we just improve our gut health. And we try to cover everything from A to Z about how to feel better in mornings, how to get better sleep, how to improve overall health so that we, along with our families, can live a longer and healthier life. And today's guest is Dr. Pal, who is an expert in gut health. Across the world, he's been talking and spreading science around what is the number one thing which we all ignore, which is causing mostly every disease that we have. Enjoy the show. Why don't you tell us why this conversation with you is going to be important and everybody should pay attention to what you do and how it's helping everybody else?
So, I'm a gastroenterologist. Okay, so I see patients, not only patients outside, I see inside the stomach as well. And I'm involved in a research where we are figuring out, similar to your name of the podcast, that the root cause of all the medical problems is the bacteria in the intestine.
Okay.
Which is called your gut. And there is like 100 trillion bacteria, which is 1 and then 14 zeros right after.
Yeah.
So we're figuring it out, and then we are finding very, very interesting observations where no matter what disease you choose, there is some kind of link that is associated with this gut bacteria.
But tell me, what does gastroenterologist means?
Gastro means stomach.
Okay.
Okay. Enterology means the intestines. So from oral cavity all the way to the anal orifice, we call it as gastroenterology. So anything dealing with the intestinal diseases.
Okay. So from the time we consume to the time we just defecate, anything that happens in between is your job to figure out whether it's happening nicely or no.
Correct. I will help you figure out.
What was the most shocking thing you've discovered or you found out in last 15 years related to gut?
The most shocking thing is the gut bacteria can influence your mood.
Mood.
It can make you anxious. It can make you depressed. It can make you happy. It can make you sad. Or you can live a happy life.
So you're telling me a lot of times the reason for slight level of depression, anxiety, bad mood can be related to the gut.
Correct. That is the most shocking thing.
Really? So if my digestion is not good, probably my brain's not, and mental health is not good as well.
Absolutely correct. That's why we call the gut as the second brain. So these bacteria in the intestines, based on what we eat, secretes chemicals in a way to balance this bacteria up and down based on what we eat. And that chemicals can pass on from the intestinal neurons to the brain, stimulate your dopamine center, serotonin center, whatever, based on whatever the chemical is produced, and make you decide the mood and the food that you want to eat.
Let's just say that I have either anxiety or depression or something, which I have no idea, or maybe stress. Let's just say like a simple stress. Okay. And I don't know it's because of my gut, right? And you're saying there are high chances, let's say it can happen because of gut. What should I do? What is the first step I should do in order to fix this?
So the first thing, you should understand that you are what you eat. Everything that you put inside your mouth is very, very critical. Because every time you put something inside your mouth, there is an n number of chemical reactions that's going on inside the gut. And it's always a fight between these two bacteria, good and bad. So if you feed them good foods, whole foods and everything, then the good gut bacteria will stimulate the chemicals that your body wants. If you feed them bad, it decreases, bad bacteria multiplies, and that secretes the chemicals in terms of what this bad bacteria wants. So let's say KFC, you're going to eat vegetarian burger.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say, for example, maybe another Raj Shamani, not you. Okay. So eats chicken burger every day. Okay. What happens is, or every day or more frequently, there is a balance.
Yeah.
And this bad bacteria starts multiplying. Right? This secretes chemicals from the gut, seeps into the intestinal wall, passes through the highway, goes into the brain, controls your decision-making center, and makes you crave for the exact same KFC burger repeatedly.
Wow. So if I'm eating bad, my body knows it's bad, but my brain thinks it's good. So I wanted more.
Correct. That's why I'm saying whenever you have any cravings, correct? It might not be you. It might be the bad bacteria. My general thing is, our gut bacteria doesn't like anything that is in a package. So when you tear a package, I always say you tear a piece of your gut. So because most of the times, packaged foods are processed foods. And ultra processed foods, the reason is that they add extra ingredient to the naturally occurring flavors because to extend the shelf life.
Interesting. Okay. So you said mood gets affected because of gut. Stress happens because of gut. How do I get to know that my gut is a problem? So are there like symptoms or indications where I get to know that gut is the problem, which is I'm getting all of these things?
So usually patients have, like bloating. People become very full as soon as they eat, and they'll have abdominal cramping kind of pain. And then, they might have been normal bowel movements before. Now they might have constipation or diarrhea, change in bowel habit, change in frequency.
Timings affect?
timing of
bowel movement.
Bowel movement, yes, that will also be obviously changing the frequency. So, for example, if you're having bowel movement once every 2 days or once every day, it might be once every 3 days later, something like that. So all those are starting signs of some kind of GI distress.
Okay.
Right? Let me tell you my study that we were involved in, and that might help you understand what I'm talking about. So we do basic science research. Okay, so we do research on small chuvas mice to see what's going on. And, I will be the one who will be opening the mice, measuring the stool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll sit on a stool to measure the stool of the mice. My mom back in Madurai will be thinking that, oh, my son is a big researcher in US. So I go there and then we measure and everything. So we have 2 groups of mice. Okay, one group of mice, it is a sterile intestine. There is no bacteria at all. It is extremely difficult to do research on that because as soon as you step on it, even with a small, bare feet, the bacteria enters the room. So we'll be extremely sterile. We'll be like a COVID precaution thing. We'll go in and then we'll do everything. So sterile mice. The other one is a normal mice with all the normal bacteria. Okay, so when you take this 2 groups of mice and put it in an open field. Let's say this is an open field. Okay. What does usually chuvas do, mice do? They don't run around, correct? Because if they run around, cat will see them.
Yeah.
It'll be an easier prey, correct? So they'll be like cautious. That's what the mice with the normal bacteria did. When the mice with normal bacteria, we just put that in the open field, they were very, very cautious, making sure that, they don't fall for an easier prey. But when we did this with the sterile mice, they just kept on running around. There is no risk-taking. The risk-taking capability was so high because there was no behavioral influence from the bacteria. On the top of it, we also found out that, let's say that these 2 groups of mice, correct? So we gave a small white ball and then a big red ball. Okay. It's a newer toy to them, correct? So when you give it to them, they start playing around. Oh, what is this? Oh, good, beautiful, and everything. Okay. And then we gave it for 5 minutes and then we took both out. 20 minutes later, we did not give the white ball. We just give the big red ball. And instead of the white ball, we gave a star-shaped toy. Ideally speaking, the normal mice, what it does, it has seen the red ball before. So it spent more time on the star-shaped toy. Correct? Because it has seen the red ball before. Yeah. Because we're giving 20 minutes later. But the sterile mice could not differentiate these 2 at all. It started playing with the red ball as if it is a new toy given to it, which means that there is a role in the memory disturbances as well. So all these gut bacteria play a role in terms of your memory, in terms of your behavioral, and to even make it interesting, in another experiment, an introvert mice, like an anxious mice, nervous mice, and an extrovert mice. So let's say we put them on a platform like this, elevator platform. An introvert mice, an anxious mice, when it shot on top of the platform, it took 4.5 minutes
to get down.
Okay. Extrovert mice took only 4.5 seconds. Okay. That's a normal behavior. Now what we did, we took the gut bacteria of the extrovert mice, put it into the introvert mice. The introvert mice took 4.5 minutes before. Now we took only 3.5 minutes. Other way around, if you took the extrovert mice and put it in introvert mice and put the extrovert mice, before it was only 4.5 seconds, now it was 1 minute. Which means that there is a possibility that the gut bacteria can actually influence your personality.
Damn.
It's mind-blowing.
It's crazy. So you're trying to tell us that if your gut bacteria is good and if your gut is really, really nice and in good shape and form, and the bacteria are all good, there's no imbalance, then your ability to take better risk in life gets higher. It gets better. Controlled. Like take high risk controlled.
Correct.
One very basic question, because you talked about bloating. In our deeper conversation, I don't want this to get away. So that's why I'm just asking. So almost everyone I know feels bloated like 3 times a week.
Every disease you take, fatty liver, heart attack, stroke, any gastroenterology problem, the final treatment of that paragraph in that big book is going to be weight loss. I was pretty big before. I was 100 kilos before.
Really?
3 years ago. 3 to 5 years ago, yeah.
How did you lose it? What's your weight now?
So right now I'm 65. So it took like 3 to 5 years to reach this.
Wow.
And that's
You're lighter than me.
I'm lighter than you, older than you,
taller than me, and still lighter.
older than you. So I'm lighter. And during my weight loss journey, I learned a lot. I tried everything. And the only thing that worked for me was because thankfully I was involved in all this research. So I get the first bite. So I adopted circadian rhythm of eating.
Okay. What is that? Why don't you explain us?
So
what's the secret of your weight loss? Going from 100 kgs to 65 kgs in how many months? Years?
3-4 years.
Okay.
It's a very slow, gradual, sustainable, no pain, no gain, nothing like that. Very simple.
So you're telling me just by eating?
Just by eating right. Just not only by eating at the right time.
Just by changing your eating habits and food.
Correct.
You dropped from 100 kgs to 65. Nothing else in your lifestyle changed?
Nothing else in lifestyle changed. Maybe a little bit more exercise than before, but that was not the major thing. I can improve with the exercise for sure.
Okay. Tell us, what did you do?
So,
circadian rhythm and everything, what is that?
Correct. So, see, I also did all this diet and everything, correct? You name it, I have signed up. And my gym membership, they absolutely loved me. Because I sign up for 6 months and I don't show up.
Perfect client.
6 months later, they will call me. They will say, oh, what happened? You didn't come. Hey, dude, I didn't come for 6 months. So then at that time I was involved in this mice research with circadian rhythm. What we did was we took 2 groups of mice. And then we said that, okay, we feed this one group 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. sunrise to sunset. Okay. The idea is as soon as the sun rises, similar to how we go to sleep and wake up in the middle of the wake up in the morning, every cell in your body has an exact sleep-wake cycle at different timings. Okay. For example, you go to bed at night, but that's where your growth hormone is very active. And your melatonin is a hormone that makes you sleep. It's very active. And it will repair all the damage that you did in your body, including your KFC vegetarian burger. And then it needs at least 12 hours to do a job. So what happens is when the sun rises, the sunlight triggers this suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny, teeny organ inside the brain that stimulates this circadian rhythm. It's almost like a boom. All the active daytime hormones wake up. And then all your daytime hormones, which is especially insulin. So whatever you eat, if your insulin is 100% quality, it will digest everything. Okay, that's a bird's eye view explanation. And insulin should also rest. And insulin needs sunlight. When the sun sets, insulin also goes to sleep. The problem happens is that insulin needs at least 12 hours of rest. But our night life starts only at 9 p.m.
Yeah, exactly.
So after sunset, your body is not designed to get food. That's how, look at our ancestors.
Yeah.
When they hunted, they have to eat before sunset because there is no light. Now we have light everywhere, right on your phone, looking into it. So every time you have something disturbing, this is what we call a circadian rhythm. It's a beautiful, melodious, synchronized, orchestrated rhythm. And once this insulin dies down, then the sleeping hormone comes up. And then once that dies down, then the insulin comes back up again. This is a beautiful thing. But problem is, when you eat after sunset, that's where the problem happens. So this is what we saw in this group. So one group of mice, we take 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. We fed them, let's say, pizza, biryani, burger, whatever it is. And then the other group, sunset to sunrise. 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Same number of calories. Okay. 6 months after, this sunrise to sunset method lost weight, decreased their diabetes, decreased their blood pressure, decreased their cholesterol levels, but not this one. This one was normal and they developed obesity, developed blood pressure. And of course, this is just a mice study. And then when we translate that into humans, yes, it was not as significant as this, but definitely there was some kind of effect. So I was like, wow, good. This is working. So let me try it.
But isn't it circadian rhythm for every human being is different? So let's say I might be a person where my body and cells and everything is active in midnight, way more than it's active during the sunrise. And it can happen with someone else that there are few people who are early risers and they perform work well, digest, absorb food, do everything better when they operate on a sunrise to sunset cycle. And then there are other set of people who are like midnight scrollers kind of people. Let's say me. I don't know if that's good or no. I'm just asking you because I've read it that different people with different cycles.
Different,
right?
yeah. But
the other set of people, we all can be someone, we would be at our best productive self externally and internally if we sleep late and wake up late. Do you think that's a possibility?
It's a possibility for the first 5 to 10 years when you are between 20 to 30. Because circadian rhythm is something that we didn't invent. It just evolved. Correct? So, you cannot change your insulin. All right? Yeah. I always say that the manufacturing warranty of a human body is only up to 40 years. And beyond the 40 years, it depends upon how good you took care of your body in the first 40 years. Eventually, your body will show signs of distress. Just a matter of time.
If we don't wake up and sleep at the right time.
I mean, if you're not respecting your circadian rhythm. Yeah, some patients might go up to like 40, nothing happens. Some patients might see even 30, 31. And one of the strongest believer I am one of the strongest believer that all these young heart attacks that's happening is because that we are abusing our system in the first 40 years by working late nights, not sleeping well, not eating well, and thinking that is the sign of productivity and that is the sign of a normal individual you just mentioned. The problem of starting your day after 11 a.m. is the underlying disturbance of the circadian rhythm.
Yeah.
And the graveyard shift workers. I live in San Francisco. I see all my, hi-fi CEOs. They work out in the morning. They eat very well. They come at 9 a.m. in the morning. And all our people over here in India, overnight, starting from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. and answering all the Zoom calls and everything. Correct?
Yeah.
Multiple research studies have shown that graveyard shifts are increased risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, including stroke and heart attack.
What did you say?
The late night shifts. Late night shift is called graveyard shifts.
Okay. So graveyard shifts have led to obesity, heart attacks,
high blood pressure, diabetes. Multiple studies have shown that.
So people who are like me, sleeping late, working till 4 a.m. are prone to more heart attacks, high blood pressure,
I'm not saying you get heart
diabetes, obesity, more prone to. Increasing risk.
Right. Increases. That is proven. But does it mean that, I'm going to quit my job and then stay at home, not doing anything? Absolutely not, right? So you just have to understand that there is a compromise that you are doing to your body by adopting this lifestyle, maybe because of financial reason, maybe because of your personal goals. But the bottom line is there is a compromise to your health. To compensate for that, you better do everything right. You eat right, you sleep well in the morning, and then you work out, you meditate, you drink water, you make sure your protein content is okay, everything okay, then you could do the other thing.
Okay, multiple questions in between all the things that you've told and research and everything. My question actually started with bloating, right? Because a lot of people have bloating. And the other thing is, what can we eat or what can we improve in our diet that our bloating problem gets solved, or at least it reduces. All of us have bloating. Like most of the people, because we eat wrong and we eat on odd times, we have bloating.
So you told the answer already, right? So because of all this lifestyle changes, lifestyle choices that people make, I told you this, the gut bacteria is based on the lifestyle choices. So what do you think in the balance, which one is going to be more? You tell me.
The bad
gut bacteria is more because of the lifestyle choices, okay?
Yeah.
This bad gut bacteria loves carbs. absolutely loves carbs. It makes you crave for carbs and you eat more biryani. Okay. And when you eat biryani, this bad bacteria starts eating all this biryani and carbs and secretes gas. And that will be a manifestation of your bloating. That's number one. Number two is, remember I told you that the motility and irritable bowel, all this, can cause constipation, all those things.
Yeah.
Most common cause of bloating is constipation. Is because the bad gut bacteria again is not doing the job.
Okay. How common, like a lot of people fart. Okay. There's farting, gases, which we say, and people pass gases, right? Very silently, embarrassingly, people are embarrassed to do that. Is it normal? Or is it a problem?
Excessive flatulence is a problem. Excessive flatulence, where...
What is excessive? What is the limit in a day?
Not excessive. If it is compromising the quality of your life. For example, if you are in a meeting, if you have to run to a restroom or a washroom to pass gas, then that is an issue. Correct? And normally flatulence is mainly related to the food that you're eating. And obviously, I just told you, when bad bacteria eats all these carbs and it releases gas, and that can be presented as flatulence as well. So most of the times what we do is, when you have flatulence, we usually ask them to do a food diary regarding, hey,
what are you eating?
What are you eating?
What are the common ingredients or food in Indian diet and junk food, if you want to include, that we are eating and is causing gases?
So usually what happens is, any ultra processed, high fat, high calorie food, which will promote the growth of bad gut bacteria, will be the reason for the flatulence usually. Okay. So the treatment for that is, you develop good gut bacteria. Okay. How do you do it? You give your gut bacteria a lot of fiber.
Okay.
Fiber. Okay. And fiber-rich foods, including channa, rajma, fruits, vegetables, rich in dal, rich in complex carbs. All those will create this restorative balance. But when you're introducing channa, rajma in a patient with an altered balance, initially they will find it difficult to adjust to the high fiber content. That might even present as bloating and flatulence. But that doesn't mean that channa and rajma is bad.
Okay.
So slowly fiber has to be included, and every person has to have at least 25 grams of fiber per day. It is very, very critical.
Give me 5 foods which are really high in fiber and it can help you with gases, bloating and everything else.
So fruits is one of the main things. Okay. So guava. Okay. And then...
Oh, I love guava.
Yeah. If you do, one thing will be at 3 grams, 4 grams of fiber. Okay. And then, in US, raspberries is huge.
Yeah.
And then, watermelon. Any fruit have good source of fibers, not juicing. Has to be whole foods.
I was just going to ask you this question. Every morning, if I start my morning with a watermelon juice, how about that?
No, it might not be bad to start with, but you might not get that much amount of fiber.
Okay.
Correct. Blending is relatively okay. Juicing is, you take the fiber out and that's why you get the juice. Correct.
Wow. Everything I like, you're like...
Right. But the whole foods, when you actually eat, that is the biggest source of...
but I can eat like watermelon and guava.
Correct. Yeah. Watermelon, guava, vegetables, including carrots, cucumber, broccoli, spinach, everything that you don't like.
You can see it on my face. I didn't even say whether I like it or not. You can see it on my face.
But the key thing is, when you start doing this, you will like one of the multiple options.
Yeah.
That is where all the young kids have to start working on.
Interesting. Okay. The other thing, a lot of people say this, that because they have a fast-paced lifestyle and they're eating and then immediately going to the work and they're not taking that gaps and like walking 20 minutes after the work, and it's sometimes not possible, right? People say that it's good to walk after eating, but it's not possible every day. Like after breakfast, lunch, dinner, you can't do that. Correct. Maybe after dinner you can do that, you can adopt that lifestyle.
Correct.
But not after every meal. So people feel nauseous. Like a lot of people have this puking sensation after eating. Even if they're eating good food, maybe they overeat or undereat. In both the cases, probably there's some acid there. So they start feeling it, right? what can help people to be less nauseous?
It's a very broad question. I'll try to answer it in a broad way. It might not be individualized, okay? Because nausea can be because of multiple things.
Okay.
But in general, one of the things that we say is, your stomach is very sensitive. Correct? Your stomach is like a teenage girl who just attained puberty, where there is multiple hormonal balances that's happening. Same way that multiple hormones are controlling the acid secretion and the stomach sensitivity at the same time. So everything has to go properly to prevent any kind of stomach disturbances. So including your acid production. So when there is more acid production, sometimes it can reflect back into your food pipe, and that can cause some kind of nausea. Or just because that, sensitive stomach per se can cause nausea. Most of the times, the treatment is very simple. Sleep. Very, very important. Very, extremely important. When a patient comes to me, I don't ask them, how's your abdominal pain? I don't ask them, how are you? I ask them,
how much are you sleeping?
Are you spooping?
Spooping? What is that?
Sleeping and pooping is combined as spooping.
Okay.
Because both are very important.
So are you spooping right? That's your go-to question.
Wow. I can guarantee you.
Please don't ask me. I'm not coming to your clinic now.
I'll see you in 2 minutes. So I can guarantee you, any person who's saying you have nausea, bloating, just ask the simple question. How's your sleep? How many hours do you sleep? And are you a late night owl or you early morning riser? 75% of the time will be a late night owl.
Quick 2-3 foods I'm going to ask you. How bad are they and what do they do? And why people should eat it or not eat it. Okay. And I'm going to make life easy for you. Not going to make ingredients bad. I'm going to just ask you whether the popular common junk food which we all are eating and surviving on are good or bad. What's your opinion on momos? Have you heard of momos? Huh? I am from Indore, but my mom is from Delhi. Okay, so I used to go there during my summer vacations to visit my nani house, mama house, and everyone. And I used to eat a lot of momos there, and I learned eating momos there. And then Indore also started building this momos culture, which I absolutely love. Like, so momos is like an emotion. So is it good or bad?
So tell me again about the ingredients in momos, just a little bit.
Okay, so you're making me talk about it.
No, just the ingredient alone. What does because momos can be made in different types.
So I'm talking about, these are like white in color, like balls, and they are fried and steamed. There are two options. One is I don't know the surface is made of, like what is the outer covering is made of. Inside there's like inside there are vegetables. Then you eat it with two types of either a red chutney or a or a white mayonnaise. Okay, so either with mayonnaise or a Szechuan chutney. These are two. And the outside layer is probably flour, like white flour.
White flour, yeah. I think so. Yeah, I think so. So right off the bat, fried momos out of the window.
Like it's oil.
Oh, okay, let me put it this way. So,
but what is it doing? Like, is it harming us very bad? I know that it's bad, like because white flour is bad. Right. But is it harming too much?
So let me put it this way. I tell my patients all the time is that, I ask them to track down the calories per day, what they're eating, okay? If they have momos in their calories per day, and if they're able to meet the calories in the exact way, I'm okay with it. That's a very key point.
But ingredients, there's no problem in the ingredient for the gut?
That's what I'm saying. In limited moderation, maybe okay. Okay? The problem comes when you're frying, the oil adds more calories. Correct? So 1 spoon of oil has 120 calories. And all this frying that we are doing, easily 2 teaspoons easily. So one small momos itself will be like 200 calories. Fried once. So usually we don't stop at 1.
Yeah.
We usually stop easy.
Minimum I'll eat 6.
Good.
6 is like, the plate is of 6. You can't disrespect.
So let's say on a conservative thing, 150. Okay. So 150 into 6 would be 360, 900 calories. That small plate would be 900 for fried ones. Okay. And then for the steamed ones, it will be much less because the oil is not there. Correct. And the vegetables, absolutely good. Okay. So that'll give you the fiber. The only problem is the white flour. Okay. And yes, minimum amount is okay. So the verdict is 1 to 2 momos occasionally is okay. Let me track back and then say that India is the only country where it has this vast options of wonderful food options for the gut.
Okay.
India is one of the countries, actually the only country I would say. India is, I'll repeat that again. India is the only country where there are multiple good food options for the gut. Every region has their own delicacy in terms of good food. Not only bad food. For example.
But like my family and we don't even know what's good or bad. So explain us.
So anything, there are 3 Fs that will make your gut happy.
3 Fs.
Fs.
Okay.
The first F is fiber, we talked about. Second F is fermented food.
Fermented food.
And third F is minimal fasting of 12 hours because you're giving rest to the gut. Fasting. If you have 3 Fs, you will get the extra F free, which is fun. And you will not have the extra F, which is farting.
Nice.
So every Indian region will have their own fermented food.
Okay.
Where I come from, idli. Gujarat, dokla. Manipur is korisa. Assam is korisa. Manipur is, there's one thing I forgot. Odisha is enduri pita. Punjab, it is kanji, fermented black carrots. Kanji.
Okay.
And Bangalore, it is ambali. All this, I put that on a reels in my video, in my channel, because I want them to at least know that these are all the options available. Ask your mom, hey, what are the food ingredients that you soak it in water overnight?
Oh.
So that the bacteria ferments so that you get good gut. For example, the batter, right? So the batter, you keep it, you ferment overnight and then it boils up more. And that's why you make dosa, idli and everything, correct?
Okay, tell me why this problem is growing day by day. Lactose intolerance. In simple words, people are not able to consume milk or dairy products. So I know my friend, she was born like with all of us in Indore, and we have been drinking milk, dairy products, eating ice cream since we were like 9 or 10, and for like 15 years we've been together eating all of these things and eating all sort of junk. I can still drink milk. If now she drinks milk, she
gets bloating.
Like she gets
diarrhea.
Either she gets diarrhea or she starts puking or like it's so many things. And I'm like, ye kya hua? And then she found out that she's lactose intolerant. So I was like, till 25 years old, like you're not lactose intolerant. And then when I'm reading about it, there's a Google trend, by the way, where on Google study it shows the amount of people who are searching about lactose intolerance is going and increasing every week, not even every year. So every year more people are searching and getting to know about it. So why is this trend increasing? So why more and more people are getting allergic to milk all of a sudden?
So you need this enzyme called lactase. Okay, lactase, lactase, and that is in your intestinal wall. Okay, so when you drink milk, the lactose component of the milk has to be broken down by this lactase enzymes into smaller molecules that gets absorbed in the body. The problem is this lactase doesn't persist throughout your life. The lactase will die down after 20-25 years. And that is why your friend, after 25 years of actually handling milk now is having all these issues. And the rate of progression of lactase deficiency is related to the amount of bad bacteria in the gut. So if you have, let's say, 10 to 15 years of age, your childhood obesity, it's a huge thing now, right? Every child is, more than normal body mass index. When that happens, then the lactase deficiency and all the symptoms will come even early. And it is, yes, it is surprising to you, but it's not as surprising to me, because this is, I think we're just scratching the tip of the iceberg.
Okay. Quick questions again. Now, talking more about studies and researchers, and I'm curious to know. We were talking about heart attacks, and you touched it very briefly, right? More and more young people around the world are getting heart attacks, right? And it's increasing day by day. Earlier, they used to say that women get heart attacks lesser than men. Now there are a lot of women getting heart attacks. They used to say that heart attacks happen after 40. Now it's no more the case. 25, 17-year-old recently got a heart attack in India, and he died out of it, right? So, tell me, is there a typical or a particular reason or something that we are doing wrong, which is why heart attack is happening? And B, why in general, overall, regardless of age, is increasing day by day? Or why do we get to hear these news again and again? Like, there are number of heart attacks and deaths because of heart attack has increased like a lot. And people always argue and debate. In fact, so many people go in questioning that the person who died out of heart attack recently, a popular actor died, right? He was fit. He used to gym a lot. He used to eat right. And even after that, he died out of heart attack. So it was no more a question of cholesterol or everything of that sort as well, which is like the most common answer which people give. So fit people are also dying. Unfit people are also dying. Younger people are dying. And women, regardless of gender, you're dying. So why is this all of a sudden, like there's an increase in heart attacks?
The most common reason which is being established, the most common reason we're seeing now is stress. More than before. Before, yes, of course, your cholesterol, everything comes out. But now, we are figuring out that stress, especially with this high-performing mentality, where it is okay, we talked about this briefly, that it's okay to compromise on your body quality to perform better. And that is one of the main reasons why we are seeing young heart attacks even in medical professionals as well. So what happens is, in stress, increases this hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is the mother of all hormones.
Yeah.
When cortisol is there, forget about insulin, forget about melatonin, forget about growth hormone, nothing will work. Okay. Cortisol is a fear or flight hormone. When a deer is being chased by a lion, the cortisol in the deer is 100%. Either you fight against the lion or you fly away from the lion. So it's a fear or a fight or a flight hormone. So but that deer needs a lot of energy, correct? So cortisol takes all these glucose levels everywhere in the body, gives you so much energy so that you can either fight against the precipitating factor or fly away against it. The same kind of situation is happening with us on a daily basis when you are in the traffic getting late to your appointment, when you are seeing a doctor who was 3 hours late over the appointment, or you're doing this podcast like, how is it going to come? What is it happening? How is I going to grow? So, or you forget to unmute your Zoom meeting button when your spouse is scolding you. So all this little thing stresses you, but your body doesn't understand that it is a minimal stress. What it does is it keeps secreting cortisol. Cortisol provides you with so much energy, and it is asking you to fight against the precipitating factor. But what we do, we order from Swiggy to counteract the stress. So all this adds up and puts a strain on the heart. And I have a strong feeling that cortisol, if we can decrease it, it's just slowing down our life a little bit. Doesn't have to be this much fast-paced. Understand your body and work only as much as you need. This 70 hours of week work by Narayana Murthy and everything is good if you absolutely enjoy the work. But if that work is in some way is making you stressful and you are stretching that to finish the 70 work, that is where the problem is.
So is that also a reason why when we are stressed, we end up eating desserts more?
Absolutely.
Because my body wants more energy and sugar is the best form to...
Right. My friend, neurologist, Sidhwarya, we discuss about this as well. So when you are stressed, your body is in a sympathetic state, which means you are in an alert state. So you need to do something. You need to get rid of that alertness. Okay. So your body is trying to gather your sympathetic state, pull you towards parasympathetic state where you are in a relaxed fashion. And eating is one of the ways to calm down, to pull you back. All the other options include going for a walk, working out, hugging somebody, actually, and then, talking to somebody, or even, taking a deep breath for like 10 seconds. All this will also pull from sympathetic to parasympathetic, but it is much, much easier to open a packet of chips rather than doing all those things.
I'm so glad that you pointed out this hugs wala point. It's hugging, giving hugs, receiving hugs is so underrated. It's insane. I was reading this study that if you get hugs and give hugs 7 times a day minimum to your partner, your fights drop by 70%.
Correct.
Your stress level drops significantly low. Your overall productivity goes up. Your mood gets better. You're more happy. You're less annoyed. So all the good things happen just by fixing one thing. If you're an absolutely shitty person living shitty lifestyle, not sleeping on time, always fighting, always annoyed, and everything is going wrong, just hug 7 times. Your life will be 50% better.
That's why I don't let my wife go at all.
But it's so underrated. I was surprised by the study that just one thing, because when you hug somebody, the oxytocin level in your body goes up.
Correct.
And that oxytocin makes you feel that you're secure, you're happy, you're safe, you're comfortable.
Absolutely.
And these kind of feelings you just love.
So that's the one other thing that drifts from your sympathetic to parasympathetic. You're absolutely right.
Okay. Is there any way that I can get to know that my cortisol level is rising? Is there any test or anything that we can get to know that my stress is too much?
Oh, nothing. No fancy test, nothing. Okay. I just want you to go home, take a small inch tape. Tomorrow morning, the first thing that you're going to do is to measure around your belly button.
Okay.
And if you meet the criteria of your belly button waist circumference is more than 90 centimeters, congratulations, you're pregnant. So what that means is that basically you have more belly fat. And stress is the main reason for your belly fat.
So if I put like a tape here and if it's more than 90 centimeter, I'm stressed.
In men. Correct. It's one of the indication of stress.
Really? So what about the people who are like little fat and obese? There are different reasons?
Stress is one of the factors, correct?
Okay.
So stress plus diet is the main reason for this belly fat thing. So, but both are very related together. So, I usually say that forget about body mass index for Indian people. That's not going to work anymore. All you need to do is to measure the waist circumference around your belly button. In men, it is more than 90. In women, it is more than 80 centimeters.
Really?
If you have more than that,
I know so many people, so many people who look very happy and nice, but they're above, like they look like they'll be more than 90 centimeters.
That is where the problem is, because we're all skinny fat. We have a manufacturing defect where the extra calories goes and deposits in the belly. That's the problem of Southeast Asian population, especially Indians.
Another thing, you talked about something fatty liver in the beginning, and I made a note of it. Okay. Recently, I found out when I was going through my test, I had my SGPT and SGOT was slightly upper, like they were increased, and now it's getting better. We got another test and it's normal, but it got up. Right? The first question my doctor asked me, have you been drinking too much?
Yeah.
Right? And I told him, I don't drink alcohol. So I don't smoke, I don't drink. I've never tried smoking, never tried, never drank, never, like nothing.
Right.
Then he's like, are you eating a lot of fried food before you sleep? And I said, yeah, that's the reality. And that's what I was asking. So he said, this is so common. A lot of young people don't even know that they have fatty liver. But what can happen? I didn't ask him much after that.
I see.
But what can happen if we have fatty liver and we don't know? What can happen?
So fatty liver is a fat deposition in the liver, correct? And that
Why does it happen?
That happens because you have more fat in your body. Your body just doesn't know where to store this fat.
Okay.
So it starts storing around your liver, your pancreas, your intestine, everywhere. And then after completely storing, then it doesn't know where to go. Then it comes to your belly. Okay. So I usually say that, if you meet the criteria of the inch tape test, you don't even know to have any ultrasound or anything. Just give the money to my charity and I will tell you have fatty liver. There is no point in doing ultrasound because there's some kind of fatty infiltration. Okay. What happens if you don't treat is 90, this disease progresses slowly in like 10 to 20 years. What happens is more fat gets deposited if you don't take care of it. And there is scar tissue being formed in the liver. Okay. So then the liver slowly shrink in size.
Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Oh my God. Why does this happen?
It's an intestinal sound.
Okay. We'll come to this.
Because you're excited.
Oh, really? Okay. So go ahead. You complete the liver scarring. We'll come to this.
What was I saying? Yeah. There's scar tissue in the liver. Correct? So what happens is once the scar tissue is there, 100% of the liver is slowly getting decreased in size and function. 80%, 60%, 40%, 20%. Good thing about the liver is the only organ, all you need is only 10 to 20% of the liver because it regenerates. Correct? Our God has been very kind to us where it's okay, you keep damaging the liver, even if you have a small piece, I will bring you back again. But the problem is we are saying God is there with us. Let's do whatever you want.
So liver scarring is a problem?
So what happens is liver, if it keeps on getting damaged, once it becomes like 100% damage, that's where we call it as cirrhosis of the liver. Where
what is liver cirrhosis?
Liver doesn't work at all. We call it end-stage liver disease. That's it. Liver is gone.
And that can happen if I keep eating junk food and sleeping on the wrong times.
Yeah. And also drinking alcohol. Before, the leading cause of liver, so the treatment for that is liver transplantation. There is no medication that we can give to cure cirrhosis. The leading cause of liver transplantation before was alcohol. Okay, but now there is something called non-alcoholic fatty liver.
Okay.
And that comes from diet. So that's why I say 3 B's are very important. B for beer, B for biryani, the third B is belly fat.
Okay. So, one of the questions that I'm seeing here is fruits, juices. We touched on that actually. Eating fruit versus drinking in form of juices and smoothies. What is more beneficial?
We talked about this.
Smoothie so we talked about smoothie.
Yeah, you blend it, correct?
Okay.
So you retain a little bit more of a fiber.
Okay, so juices is like when I squeeze it and take it out. That's bad.
Not bad. It's just that you don't get the same amount of benefits. So compared to drinking orange juice, bottled orange juices, fresh orange juice is better. Compared to fresh orange juice, regular orange is better. Between a fresh or a regular orange and the juice, the blender is better. So it's all about the line of spectrum.
Okay. And so are juices bad? Are they not sugary?
See, naturally occurring sugars in fruits is good for you.
Is good?
It's, again.
So I can drink, let's say, a watermelon juice. There's no if there's no extreme benefits, there are no extreme negatives as well.
Amount as well, right? So, reasonable amount of watermelon juice every day, it's good. It's just that if you eat watermelon, the fiber also comes along with it.
Okay.
The fruit sugar is going to cause all this damage. It's not
true?
Not true.
So people say that avoid fruit sugars as well.
That's not true. There are certain fruits which is high in glycemic index where rich in sugar. For example, banana, mango. If you're a diabetic, we say that cut down on that, right? For a normal people, you can still include it around your workout. Okay, so just before going to work out, post or pre, correct? Because you are exerting yourself and you need carbs. People are blaming carbs as so bad or villain, which is not true. You need good carbs. That's where the complex carbs in fruits comes in play.
Interesting. Okay, there's one thing which I heard. One of the leading dietitian or nutritionist in the country said this: don't start your day with sugar. In the breakfast, just completely avoid sugar. Like even if you are addicted to sugar, you want to take sugar, take it in during the day, like in middle of your meals. Don't start your day with it. And that also means not take sugar from natural sources as well. Like don't eat dates in the morning. Don't take fruit juices in the morning, even if you're freshly squeezed juices. Do you believe so? That's a problem?
So there is some kind of reasoning to it, because remember I told you about that insulin thing. So sunrise comes in. Insulin is the only hormone that digests the sugar very well, correct? So sunrise comes in. Insulin starts peaking slowly. And it peaks at 2 p.m. So your 2 p.m. is where your insulin is like having a party. And if you want to have biryani at 2 p.m. Correct? So it digests everything. Doesn't mean that in the morning it doesn't work. It absolutely works as well. But the amount of load might be a little bit less, will be beneficial for them. That's a rationale to the explanation. Dates are a very good source of sugars, and all other options that you said, fresh, wholesome foods are extremely good. In my patients, I say that this is where the mistake is, where you go deep into it and then say, okay, this is not good. You have to eat only here or eat this only this one. That is the problem. If you are trying to change your life, and if dates is the only thing that you like when you're breaking your fast, which is a breakfast, please go for it. But let's say that you're okay with eating avocados and egg toast and egg and just high fat diet in the morning, and that is keeping you sustainable. That is okay as well. So that is why not one size fits all. Correct? You just cannot have a blanket term that you cannot have a breakfast.
Yeah.
It has to be fixed and evaluated for that particular individual surrounding the environment in which that person is.
Okay, quick question before I forget. Remember, there was a certain amount of noise coming out of my stomach out of nowhere. This happened for the first time on my podcast. Never this has happened. And in fact, it doesn't even happen normally in my life. But it happens with friends around me. Randomly your stomach makes some noise, right? Why is that? What is that kind of noise? Usually, when it happens in front of mom says, "Bhook lagi hai." You're hungry, my child is hungry, that's why the stomach. Correct. So we all have this.
So it's called bor gimme. That's what the name is.
Bor gimme. It's a real name?
Yeah, it's a real name. bor gimme. It's basically your intestines are contracting.
Okay.
Contracting.
And why does that happen?
Anticipating food. Maybe you're past your dinner time. There are multiple reasons.
So my stomach is actually asking for food.
Could possibly be.
Okay. One question. There's a study that states that babies with vaginal delivery have better gut health than C-section delivery babies. Is that true?
So, yes, there is truth to it. This is where the controversy started from the previous podcast that I did. So, based on the research, it's very clear that when a baby is born through the vaginal delivery, it swallows the bacteria from the vaginal canal. And that is the first real estate that the bacteria encounters, because the baby is like fresh, newborn. And those are all good bacteria. So it is, as soon as the baby comes out, it is just a competition for the bacteria to enter that new real estate. It's like getting a vacant land in Mumbai. Everybody will pouncing upon to build it, right? Same thing, same concept. And it is just a matter of time in terms of who is going to get first. Okay. In C-section, obviously, you don't get exposed to the vaginal canal bacteria. So when you examine the C-section born kids, you see the microbes associated with the OBGYN and obstetric gynecologist delivery person. because their hands are involved and the caretaker is involved. So there are all these exposures, correct? Does this make a difference in any of the outcomes? That is not proven yet.
Okay.
It might play a role. We don't know. But the fact of the matter is, the difference is there is a good gut bacteria in vaginal baby. Does it mean that patients should not get any C-section at all? Absolutely not. Whenever there is medically indicated, C-section is the way to go. The only problem is there are few people who really want their baby to be born on July 7th at 7 a.m. and 7 seconds. You know why? Because it's the birthday of MS Dhoni. That is where the problem happens. That is the problem. So medical indicated, absolutely C-section. Obviously, you try for vaginal delivery. If not, absolutely go for C-section. Whether whether the lack of good gut bacteria will translate into anything like obesity or we don't know yet. But if it was my kid, if it was a C-section, I will make sure that I do everything else possible to regrow the good gut bacteria, like avoiding antibiotics in the first year of life, breastfeeding, big time. Because the breastfeeding for the first 1 year is very critical. The ingredient present in the breast milk is the powerful chemical ever to promote good gut bacteria.
Another question. People who eat non-vegetarian food, are they like their gut health is not as good as vegetarian eaters?
So this is
reality? Like vegetarian people have better gut health?
Right. It's again a controversial topic. This is also what discussed in the previous session as well, where I can confidently say that multiple research studies have shown that vegetarian diet is good for good gut bacteria. Because what is there in vegetarian diet? Fiber. And we talked about the 3 Fs, and one of them is fiber. Non-vegetarian doesn't have fiber. If you look at the non-vegetarian studies, always it says that non-vegetarian diet is not inferior to vegetarian diet. It never said it is superior to vegetarian diet. So what I say is, it's okay to eat non-vegetarian as long as you add more fiber into it. That's why all the time, Raj, is that extremes will not work. Vegetarian alone will not work. Non-vegetarian alone will not work. So that's why I came up with this term called Dr. Palitarian. What Dr. Palitarian is? 3 meals a day, 7 days a week, 21 meals a week. And you go 80% vegetarian. So 15, 16 meals vegetarian, the remaining 5 you go non-vegetarian.
But usually if you're vegetarian because of all the other reasons.
Correct. If that is the case, good for you. Good for you.
Yeah. Mythbusters. I want you to give answer to 4 mythbusters. This we have been doing with every doctor. This session is complete mythbusters. Is it a myth or a fact that spicy foods can irritate your digestive system?
Most likely myth. Mostly. Okay. But there is mild fact to it that some patients might be very sensitive to it. Okay, because of the acid protection thing.
But on a broader level, it's a myth. Doesn't matter.
Spicy foods causing ulcer is a myth. That is the key thing. Spicy foods doesn't cause ulcer. Spicy foods might cause heartburn, because of more acid. So that is one myth that I want to bust.
Does spicy food leads to better weight loss?
No?
Maybe. I saw some reel and I didn't believe it. I couldn't save it. I wanted to share it with my nutritionist.
No. The spices that we use for Indian cooking might promote good gut bacteria, might help you in weight loss eventually. That might be the one of the thing. But no. General spicy foods.
So the reel said that it was some Latin American person who was making this reel on Mexican food. And
just the hotness of the food.
Yeah. No. So he was claiming that because you eat spicy food, your body burns more calories and stuff.
No.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
High fiber, extremely high fiber diets are bad for you.
No.
Myth or fact? Myth.
Oh my God, that's absolutely a myth.
But isn't like dietary fiber is a kind of carbohydrate which bulks up?
It's a good carbohydrate. You want it. Hadza tribe? Hadza tribe is a person, but it's a group of people, tribal population, where they live in Africa. where they still follow the ancestral method of hunting even in this modern era. Okay, and that Hadza tribe, we checked the stool specimen of them. Guess how much amount of fiber did they eat? 150 grams of fiber per day. 150. Average Indian patient eats 15 grams of fiber per day. You go up to 150, nothing will happen.
Do you need to have detox drinks and foods to clear your system? Like you need to have detox drinks and foods to clear your system? Myth or fact?
See, this whole thing is a myth. It's a myth.
Okay.
This whole thing of detox centers.
Detox water.
Detox thing. I'm telling, I run a charity. I want to promote that as well. I run a charity in Madurai, where we support hospice patients, where there are, they cannot eat, they cannot swallow, they cannot do their regular bathroom activities. We run 24/7 clinical care, free of support. We have like 50 patients, and then they come to us, and then they die with us because they don't have the doesn't have the manpower, or family don't have the financial power.
Sorry.
So we have been doing this for the last 10 years.
How amazing.
Okay, so this is called palliative care, which India is catching up to it, but we don't have it that much well developed similar to US. Okay, so all this detox centers, detox cleanses, what I'm saying to all people who are watching is, please go and donate that money to our charity. That will give you so much satisfaction that you will sleep well. That will detoxify your body by itself.
So detox centers are not a good, or any beneficial.
I don't think so.
Okay, you need vitamins and supplements every day, and every individual need it to have a healthy gut.
So
Myth or a fact?
Oh yeah, it's a myth. Only few patients need that extra bit of vitamin support. Provided if you have all your macros right, every protein, every requirement, every macro has an individual requirement, correct? For example, protein, you need 0.8 grams per kilo. And then carbs, fat will be like, 40, 30, something like that. And then fiber is 25 grams. So let's say that Raj in 2024 makes a resolution and say, I'm going to eat right, I'm going to hit all these boxes. That person doesn't need any other multivitamin supplement at all.
So here's a fiber gut thing, right? And one of my podcast guests told me, Gaurav Taneja, he's a vlogger. And he told me, and I asked my nutritionist as well, and asked my general physician as well, and they all said yes. But because you're a research and you're somebody who are much senior and who specializes in this sort of thing, that's why I want to ask you, is this good or bad? Does it help or no? Right? I'm going to ask you. So what he suggested that, let's say if you want to have an ice cream. So during the day at 2 p.m. when your insulins are dancing, let's just say that time. Okay. So 2 p.m. when you're having an ice cream, if you have ice cream, your sugar level is going to spike up all of a sudden. Right? But if you take ice cream and before ice cream, you eat one big bowl of salad, and then you eat ice cream, your sugar level is not going to spike as much. So every time you're about to eat like a sweet or a junk food, eat like a bowl of salad, which will A, reduce your appetite for the junk, and B, it won't be as harmful as it was without fibers. Is that true?
See, the number one is absolutely true. So that is true for any restaurant that I go, I ask for salad first. And people will be like, there's no salad. I said, you make one. You make one. So because rich in fiber, so it will keep you full. The satiety level kicks in. So that gives you advantage of tasting all the dishes without feeling guilty. Okay. So that no matter what, you cannot eat that much. First point is absolutely true. The second point of blunting the glucose response is very debatable. There is one school of thought that yes, blunting the glucose response is good because your insulin doesn't have to work that much. But the other school of thought is the glucose spikes might not matter that much. The matter is how much amount of glucose spikes that is happening throughout the day. Correct. So let's say you eat salad and you eat ice cream, and let's say you keep eating that
again and again,
then the repeated spikes is a bigger problem. It's a huge problem. So this concept of normalizing eating junk food, you can eat salad before or after, should not be the approach, in my opinion. Do they have a point? Yes, they do have some approach to it. But for a public health education, I don't think this is the way to go.
Okay, let's make both the scenarios worse. Let's say in a case, I have to eat an ice cream or junk food. I need it, I'm craving. Do I just have it or do I eat a salad?
Of course.
What's better?
Of course, you eat a salad and then you eat an ice cream. Yeah.
But we should not make it a norm. It's like slightly one step towards a better health, but it's not really good that you make it a practice. Got it.
Correct.
Okay. One question, and which is the elephant in the room, and that is the most important question of the day. Why are more people getting fat? And they're getting fatter and fatter week on week. And every country is facing this problem that there are more people getting fat. What's going on? What are we doing wrong?
So obesity is happening in every city.
Around the world.
Around the world. And the main problem, I'm telling you, is because of we are treating food as emotion. That's the key. If you look at all these vloggers, when they eat a food, right? What they do? They eat a food and then they say, wow.
It's like orgasmic feeling. They make sound of orgasms, yeah.
So the problem is you are watching somebody who's having that amazing feel. And usually what happens before is, let's say that we watch something on the TV, you need to go to a restaurant, you need to order, you need to buy. But now you watch that, you know exactly what the restaurant is, you order in Swiggy. It comes right to the link. The ease of access and availability to the food is the problem.
Is why we're getting fatter.
We're getting fatter. And similar to how there are like so many good things and bad things, the good things about food is getting decreased. And everybody has a role in it. Restaurants have a role in it. Food bloggers have a role in it. And the person himself has a role in it as well. So as a community, if we start making small changes, correct? If you change, your partner will change. Your family will change. Looking at your family, other family will change. Indore will change. Madhya Pradesh will change. India will change. And the world will change. That is where we need to go slowly. One thing as an Indian culture that we need to reevaluate our pouring of love is, especially when you get married, right? The first 3 months, you go to so many guests, so many people that you are forced to eat. Even when you say no, it is considered as a rude thing. So what happens is, women, I feel bad for them because the circadian rhythm is very difficult for them to handle more than men. Because there are so many hormones, correct? Progesterone, estrogen, we only have testosterone, chalta hai. Kuch bhi nahi hota. So for progesterone and estrogen, they have to follow the circadian rhythm even more. So what is happening is, you get married, 3 months, you get a little bit more fat in your body and you get pregnant. And you get pregnant, then all the hormones, progesterone comes in, you get pregnancy weight. Baby is born, and after the baby is born, Indian family, I know it's changing, but general tradition is you take care of the baby. How do you take care of the baby? You feed the mom.
Yeah.
So that mom feeds the baby. And how do you take care of the mom? You feed the mom. You feed the mom so much. You eat laddu, you eat this, you eat that. A breastfeeding mom needs only 500 calories more. And that is one laddu. That's it. Okay, so what happens? That extra fat gets deposited in the just delivered postpartum lady. Correct? Postpartum women. And then what happens is, the baby is born. She's growing in 1 year. The sleep cycle is messed up because she's responsible to take care of the baby. Yes, husbands are much supportive compared to before. Especially in US, you don't have a choice. You have to, and which is good. That's how it should be. But now look at the women's lifestyle. So then, other 1 year, more stress, more cortisol, less sleep, more belly fat. And then they put on so much weight in the first 2 years of pregnancy, and their lifestyle is revolving around that little kid.
Yeah.
That they don't take care of themselves. And when they become 35, 40, they deal with PCOS, they deal with all the problems. And when they try to reduce weight, it is even more difficult because the damage has been going on for the last 15 years. So then they lose motivation. And that if you see all this 40, I feel bad for them because the system has been designed in such a way that they start the innings with 1 wicket down.
Okay. The question I was going to ask you, there's a myth that women after marriage, they get fatter, right? Is it? And a lot of people say it's because of sex. A lot of people say it's because of the new very tensed lifestyle where she is worried and she doesn't know how to adjust in a new house. So she's overthinking about even the smallest things, even though the house is nice and she's entered like a really beautiful place, but she's overthinking that I should not fuck up and I should not mess up. She's taking, there are multiple reasons, but I'm going to ask you one reason. Does it happen or no? Do people get fatter if they have more sex? Yes or no? You can know. No?
I don't.
Do people get fatter if they overthink?
Overthink, yes. You remember? I told you about
you
the cortisol thing. It's a huge thing. That I know for sure.
Okay. And then the third reason, you already told me that because you visit so many people and so many places and all of a sudden your life is like really social and filled with laddus.
Absolutely correct. Yeah. All your chachi, you have to please them.
How can people lose weight when they are in their 40s and 50s and they've designed the system which was spoiling them for last 30 years? Now all of a sudden they really frustrated and they're annoyed, and that is causing the depression in their life. They're causing introvertness in their life. They're causing lack of self-belief and self-doubt in their lives, right? So they all of a sudden they're not happy because now they feel everything, and the root of the problem is the weight.
Correct.
So can people lose after 50? And if yes, then what should be the 3 steps they should do?
Yes. And the 3 steps is patience, patience, patience. You need patience because the recovery of coming back to normal is much delayed and much difficult as age advances. For example, I'm 40 now. I just turned 40 recently. So if I want to build on muscle, I would be better off if I would have lifted weights at your age. Same thing for them as well, right? Hormonal balance has been messed up. So it takes time for the balance to come down. So whenever you are on a weight loss journey, don't think as a weight loss sprint. It is a weight loss marathon.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life. You do slowly, consistency, small step every day. You will reach your destination eventually. So patience is the key.
Okay. I want to ask you a quick question. I don't know if I can ask you or no, but I'm going to take a liberty. You can tell me always if you want to avoid it or you want to put it. I saw that your finger is small.
Yeah.
Can we put it on? Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Absolutely. Why is your finger small? Like
it's a good thing that you notice. The
biggest finger is smallest.
Correct. Biggest finger is the smallest.
Yeah. Why is that?
So it's a genetic problem.
Okay.
Where my dad has it, my grandfather has it as well. It runs in families.
So everybody's, the middle finger is smallest,
and also sometimes the other finger.
Okay.
Different expressions.
Okay.
So my mom has always raised me as this is the luckiest finger ever, and that's why I was top ranked. That's what she thinks. So it was not a problem for me at all, ever, until I got married. And I've explained this in the previous podcast as well. So we got married, and this was an arranged marriage, and my wife is from the same community, but not very first degree relative, second degree. It's not like a cousin or anything like that, but it's with the same community, correct? So until then, it was not a problem. I never even thought about this, okay? So then the first pregnancy that we had, as usual, 3 months after the thing we were talking about, it got aborted, okay, after 6 weeks. And we said, okay, no, blighted ovum, we don't know what happened, that's okay. So then after every 6 months, we keep having abortions. We had like 3-4 abortions. In those 2 years after marriage, we had like 4 abortions.
What?
6 weeks, 8 weeks. We didn't know what's the reason. So as usual, in any Indian family, when there is a problem in conception, the pressure is on the women.
Okay, so the abortion was like the baby was not able to survive. Okay, that's why it was not willful abortion.
No, it's not. It's a spontaneous abortion.
Okay.
The baby just didn't survive. Basically, after like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, sometimes even 12 weeks, it starts bleeding and basically disintegrates.
4 times.
4 times. Then we thought that it was a problem with maybe because I was a medical person, I was able to understand what was going on. So we both went for checkup. So they checked my sperm, was good. They checked her ovum. It was okay. Checked her all the hormones, everything was okay, but slightly abnormal. They said, okay, maybe it's a hormonal balance. So it's you. Okay, it's your wife that is a problem.
That's how the society frames it.
Society frames it. So, and also, the chances of a woman having a problem is slightly more because of all the hormonal thing that I told you about. So then I said, okay, no, that's fine. No, we'll fix it. And then, we took some medications and then she conceived again. That got abortion as well. Okay, so we went through this 6 times. The 7th time, there was the first time that the baby survived more than 12 weeks. Okay, we were extremely happy. We were on cloud 9. And because, to be honest, failure has never happened to me until that time in my life. I've never seen failure before. And I was like, why is this happening to us and everything? So I wasn't able to take it. And then I was like, okay, that's fine, it happened. Then after the 7th pregnancy, it went beyond 12 weeks. It was good, perfect, everything is good. So there's something called anomaly scan that they do.
Okay.
And 2nd trimester, around like 5th or 6th month, where you go and check a normal scan. The first 3 month scan was nice, little ovum. I could see my daughter very well and everything. And after that, 6 months, we go for a scan. The daughter is still there. She's alive. But there is no legs. There is no arms. The body is shrunk. There's only one lung. And heart is beating, but not that much. I always feel emotional whenever I talk about this. But I still remember the day where the ultrasound lady was doing this, and she keeps she's saying, Dr. Pal, she couldn't believe what she was saying, so she brought the senior ultrasonographer. She was like, the machine is not working. I can't see the legs. I can't see the hands. I'm so sorry.
It's completely okay.
Sorry.
Take your time.
I'm so sorry. I just, whenever I talk about it,
it's okay. I understand.
So then we aborted the baby as well. So because it's pretty big, we are not able to do the regular abortion. So we need to deliver the baby. So we saw the baby with no arms, no legs, and baby cannot survive. So my mode of grief is doing research. And I'm saying this all in a public platform is because I've told this already, but I don't know why I think the wound is deep that whenever I see, I get very emotional. But the reason I'm saying that in this public platform is, being a medical doctor, I didn't realize that this whole 7 misconceptions were because of a genetic reason. The reason was, my argument to all this is that we need to find out why this is happening. So there is this top of the art state-of-the-art research center in UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, and I know them because of my medical contacts. So we sent the baby boxed up to them, and then they did complete genomic analysis of the baby, and then they found out that one gene was missing, and that same gene I was missing as well with this finger. But more interestingly, my wife was also missing the same gene. But she didn't have any problems at all. She looked completely normal. At least I have this difficulty. So then I did so much research on my entire thing, and looks like everybody has some kind of the genomic abnormality. So then I kind of went through this whole thing, why all this is happening. Then the problem is consanguineous marriage. What that means is, there is this tradition in certain parts of India. It's not here to accuse or blame the tradition, but it's a tradition that's been going on for a long time, where you marry within the family. Marrying a sister's daughter, which is a cousin, is a common thing back home in where I grew up. And it's very common in Pakistan, very common in Muslim religion, and many other parts of the country as well, very in pockets. We call it as consanguineous marriage. The problem that has been happening is because the genes are being circulated within the whole community, and the risk of genetic related problems is significantly higher. Significantly higher. So my first son, Arjun, when he was conceived, we did a biopsy of that small embryo. And then we found out that he didn't have the gene. So we were lucky. So he was born. Same thing happened with my second son as well. So now we are having a healthy family, happy family and everything. But what I'm thinking to learn from my experience is that maybe it is time to rethink about marrying within the community or within the family for sure. Within the family, definitely not. Within the community, yes, it's okay still. But pre-marriage genetic counseling, genetic screening, I think we should open up our minds to that. Why should anybody else go through what we went through? I think that is something I tell in all podcasts, and I always cry. I don't know why. So that's my take-home point, that, if you have to marry within the community, it's okay. But I think pre-genetic screening might help.
I really appreciate that you shared this with us. And I can totally understand why it makes you so emotional. I could see the wave of emotions in you going up and down and just changing. Like during the podcast, you were this funny stand-up comedian side of you was coming out. And then I really appreciate that you found me and my audience worthy, that you shared this emotional moment with us. Thank you so much for this. Sharing this.
The reason I say that in an open, you have an international audience. The reason I'm saying that to everybody is that I don't want anybody to go through what I went, and it was very difficult.
So thank you so much for being an absolutely amazing human being on this podcast with us.
Thank you. The whole nice of you. I had so much fun.
Thank you.
So much fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.